What's going on, guys? So I am out here at the fifth wheel taking my tire covers off. We're actually going to go on our first trip of the season. It's been kind of a strange year so far, and with the property, trying to get everything straightened away, trying to get this entire area set up so we could even have the RV out here. It was really tough trying to find time to take the RV out. So we're going to head out on our first trip, and it should be pretty interesting. We're actually going to go out to a relative's piece of property. We'll be boondocking, so I'll have a really good opportunity to check out the solar setup up there. The climate is supposed to be pretty mild, so I don't necessarily think we're going to need to run the ACs that much. He has 30 amp service on his property, so we should be able to use that if we need to, just in case. We'll have to move the RV over to where that is, though. But yeah, this should be pretty interesting. I'm just getting everything prepped. I have all the slides in. I went ahead and secured everything inside of the RV. Got the tire covers off. Gonna do a quick walk around. I got to disconnect my water connections, my power connections, and just get everything set up so we can hit the road. But yeah, first trip out this year. It's been way too long. I know some folks keep their RVs locked up for 6-7 months at a time. We usually like to take it out at least a couple times each month. So, it's been a while since we've actually been on an official RV trip, and we're hoping to change that real soon, and it'll be an opportunity for me to kind of get this thing out there, using it a little bit more, and spending some time with the family. Anyways, guys, I'm going to continue getting this all set up. It is an absolutely beautiful day out here today. Got turkey vultures all around, which is pretty common over here, and there's 3 of them right there. They're way up high today. Usually means there's something they're hunting for, or at least waiting for something to die so they can eat it. Anyways, guys, hang tight. I'll be right back. One of the first things I'm gonna have to do before we take off is to get this thing down so I can go ahead and drain the tanks, because again, we've been kind of using this as a bit of a kind of an apartment on site, if that makes sense, when we have guests over. And the gray tank has some stuff in it, and the black tank does as well. And I've been trying to mitigate how much guests have to use the bathroom in here. So usually they'll take a shower or whatnot before they come out here. But if you have to use the restroom in the middle of the night, wash your hands, stuff like that, they had water running out here. So I just want to make sure that the tanks are empty before we take off. You guys probably remember this piece that was welded on top of my bumper, and I use it to hold this really short hose that attaches to my drain down here. Now the challenge I have here is the fact that that's only about a foot off the ground, and the storage right here is significantly higher than that. And gravity likes to flow downward, so how am I going to fill this tank with what's inside there? That's going to be what I'm concerned about. Hopefully it'll be enough that I can actually get it to drain into the top of this tank, but we'll find out. On this side, this is your drain out, so this is where you would actually go down into your connection in the ground. But yeah, we're going to try to connect this and see what happens. Okay, so I want to apologize for the wind noise out here. I'm actually using my smartphone to record, and really don't like how the iPhone 13 Pro doesn't do any type of wind dampening. I'm not really satisfied with using the iPhone for recording as I thought I'd be, so I'll probably switch back to the Samsung S22, which is far better in terms of isolating out wind noise. Anyways, I got it connected down there. This is really the only way I was able to set it up so there'd actually be some gravity flowing out. I'm going to open up, first of all, my black tank right here, and let's see what happens. It's gonna be nasty, so let's hide some of this. So I open up my black tank, it's flowing in. Okay, so there's a lot of liquid left in the tube right here. Flushing that in. This is all my black tank stuff. So I'm gonna have to disconnect it right here and then hold it up to drain the rest in. But this is kind of an issue, so I really can't use this the way I'm hoping to. I might have to get a macerator. That way I can actually pump the stuff out and into the tank. So that's likely gonna be my next move. I actually have something that might work for this, so we'll give that a shot here in a second. So This is a really cool product I got from the folks over at eTrailer, and I got this thing, shoot, probably 5-6 months ago, and I haven't had a chance to do a review on it yet. So figured, this is a perfect opportunity, and quite frankly, I actually just kind of remembered it now that I was doing this. So the goal is to get whatever's in here into here, and with the slope up, that's going to be pretty difficult without trapping a bunch of stuff in here, then having to close off the valve, and then having to lift up the hose, and you have the potential of a really nasty mess if you're not careful. So what this is actually a macerator system. However, this doesn't use any type of power. This simply uses the water pressure that comes out of your hose. So from this diagram right here and right here, this part connects to the actual outlet. So you're going to have this piece right here, which will connect right there. Then this right here would normally go to your sewer connection, or the sewer connection on the ground. And instead, this will go into this. I got to figure out if that is able to be changed out with a piece that'll couple onto this tank. Not sure if it will, and if it can't, that'll be a big issue. But you basically hook your hose to the portion that's connected right here. It sprays really, really concentrated water and essentially shoots everything up through this little tube right here into your sewer connection on the ground at your RV park, or wherever you have it. Don't know if it'll work with this, so yeah, it'll be interesting to find out. But if it does, for what this costs, which is about half the price of your traditional macerator, and the fact that you don't need to wire into any power or connect to a battery or anything, a lot of value in this. So we're going to get this thing unboxed, try to connect it, and see if we can power spray some of this stuff up the hose into the tank. All right, so I have everything out on top of the Camco tank right here. I'm going to go ahead and flush my gray tank out a little bit, so in essence, I can clean some of the nastiness out of this tube. Not too much water in the gray tank, and this is going to actually fill up, so you can see the water backing up right there. So I'm going to shut this off right there, and this is what I've been doing essentially. I am opening up this, lifting it up, and dumping it into the tank. Now, I don't need to reconnect this right here because I'm going to be connecting this to this. So, start the process here. It's cool, they give you a couple little Velcro straps. And this is made by Valterra, who makes a bunch of really, really cool, just a ton of really cool RV products. I've used their stuff quite often, and to show you how much I use it, this actual cap right here at the end is made by Valterra, and really awesome because this is what prevents probably the biggest possible catastrophe that you can have, which can turn a good RV trip into a horrible RV trip really quickly, by accidentally opening up your main valve inside with the cap off here, not realizing all the stuff that was stuck inside of your tube right here. So this is going to connect right here, like that. And there's nothing really left in there, so everything's pretty much empty. I'm not really sure what I'm going to accomplish by doing this, but we'll find out. Alright, so I'm going to take that cap off. Tank is pretty nasty. It's probably maybe a third of the way full. This, I guess you'd have to just kind of set it here because there's no adapter. What would have been really nice is if they had one of these clamps with a hole like this that you could also put this in. That way you can kind of force everything into the tank. But it doesn't, so well, that kind of works. So you got this little sleeve right here, which this presses onto like that. But if you don't have that, you can just kind of put that right there and it will probably work the same. That's going to plug in right there. This will go on the end of your hose. So let me get a hose all set up. Ideally you want to use your gray water hose, your black water hose. You don't want to use your drinking water hose for this. So let me go ahead and get another hose out so I can hook it up to this and kind of demonstrate how this works. Okay, so I got my new hose. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in right here, like that. There's a valve right here. Okay, check that out. Okay, so in essence, you can see how this is supposed to work. Is interesting. So if I open up the valve here, it seems like it might be backfilling the tank slightly. Let me try something here. Okay, so this is interesting. So when you open up the valve, I mean, it's certainly filling up this now. But the problem is that the way it's supposed to work is that when you have trash and stuff or your toilet paper stuff coming out like that, you can open up this valve and then you can turn that on, and it essentially creates a pressure stream which forces it all through here. It's collecting in here though, so when I turn this on, maybe I just don't have enough water pressure coming through because nothing's coming out of here. Okay, so I'm an idiot. Disregard everything that sounded negative about this thing that I just talked about. So you have a diverter valve here, which is right here. This rotates. When it's in the down position, it pushes water up that way. When it's in the up position, it forces it out this way, and it works perfectly fine. Man, I just need to read instructions more, I guess. And there's a backflow preventer built into here as well to prevent water from going back into your hose, which is super important if you're using the same hose to do this, which of course you shouldn't. You should always use like a gray or black water hose if you're going to be cleaning out anything like this. But yeah, the good thing is you have that backflow preventer. So I'm going to turn the water on right here with the valve, and you're going to see that, again, it's going to be essentially filling up the tank. Let me put this down. So this is how it was, right? And it's spraying water up that way right now. But watch what happens when I turn the valve up. Even with this open, it's now doing exactly what it should be doing. So if you have trash, and I can actually see stuff moving around in there, I'm going to turn the water off for a second. I'm going to go and reopen my black tank. Close off liquid, open up black tank stuff, and this is actually going to help siphon stuff out, because as it creates pressure right here, it's going to be pulling whatever's in this tube down, which means if you have anything in your black tank, you should see it come through here. Let's see what happens. The water may get a little murky here in a second. Yep. So the black tank's pretty much empty, and that's why you're seeing this happen. There we go. Now we're draining it all out here. Now let's go ahead and disconnect that. Disconnect this. Okay, so a little bit of spillage, not too much though. If I had two hands, I would probably make this happen a lot easier than I'm currently doing it. But yeah, it seems to work pretty well, especially considering, again, it doesn't require any type of power to it. And you can see how it works. This is the diverter right here, and you can see when it's down, it's spraying into the pipe right here, and when it's to the side, it sprays into this pipe and forces everything out. That's pretty cool. I gotta admit, I like that. All right, so next step is to get this thing hooked up to the mower and brought over to the dump station. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so one improvement I could see to this design is the ability for you to caddy all the stuff you need with you, so you don't have to take your vehicle, in other words. So if I want to hitch this up to my mower, or even if I wanted to, muscle it by hand over to the dump station, I would have everything with me as opposed to trying to find a spot for it, because I need this, which will go to the actual dump station connection right here. And I do have a riding lawnmower right here, so I can throw everything in my nifty bucket on the side. But I doubt everyone has a riding lawnmower to carry their stuff over. So I need to find, I guess, the big metal bar that attaches to this and essentially loops over your hitch. Okay, so this attaches under here like that. It's pretty full. I'd probably say a little more than half full. And, well, shoot, don't have a ball on here, but I can probably set this right there, like that. Like that. It shouldn't go anywhere, hopefully. Alright, have the pin in my hand. I'm going to set that up here, and I'll hunt that down later when I forget that I put it there. Close up my slide drawer, and yeah, we're ready to head over that way. Ain't gonna lie, that worked out a little better than I thought it would. So, got it over here, no problems, no issues whatsoever. Got to go to my clean out here, and I believe this is the one. Yep, that's the one. So I got two options here. I can use the side one with the valve, which, you know, might work for most people. I don't think I need to use that one. I'm going to use this top one, basically the same one that I filled it with. Go ahead and unscrew the top, put that short hose here, tilt it up. Of course, I need to relieve the pressure by opening up that valve right there. But it should drain the contents, the nasty contents of this into there. All right, I'm going to take the pressure valve off here. Set it aside right here and tilt up and see what happens. Now, I know it's coming out. Sorry, I got my daughter on the trampoline whistling. Well, there we go. Let's go ahead and get all this disconnected, put back up. One hand backing up with a zero turn. All right, so we're back. Not gonna lie, that is the first time I have ever backed up a zero turn while hitched up to a poop remover in a really tight area. That was kind of crazy. Let's get this thing hung back up, and then we'll go over our final thoughts on this really interesting product. Okay, so I have it hooked back in place. I dropped the little vent cap. You know, I know I probably didn't need to completely remove it. I could probably just loosened it, but I removed it, so I got to go back over to where I took it off and see if I can find it. It works okay. I'm not going to say it's the most convenient way to dump your tank in an emergency, but it's certainly not the worst. I mean, what would have been nice probably is if they would have put another one of these. I know it would have been 3 valves, but another one of these like right here, a little lower, but higher up than this one. That way, if your tank's not completely full and you can, you know, empty just maybe even 15 gallons, this being I think a 30-gallon tank. But yeah, maybe even like 15 gallons out of it. I think that would be enough to suffice. It's a 28 gallon, so maybe 14. So you put a valve right here, you can drain it a little bit lower because a lot of RVs, just like ours, has the sewer connection pretty low to the ground, and that makes it really challenging. You know, the Macerator, the Valterra, that's a pretty cool invention, I gotta admit. I wish I would have started with that so I could have gotten a better impression of what it was like to actually, you know, destroy all the stuff coming out and kind of force it into here. But it worked for what it was designed to do, and what's interesting about it is that valve that I had, you know, pointing the wrong way. And what's also interesting is when I first saw a video of it, I saw that valve rotated. So again, sometimes you got to stop, slow down, and read the instructions. That's sometimes my biggest flaw. But yeah, this thing worked okay. You know, if you're boondocking, you're in a bind, and you really need to empty part of your tank out or your tank out, this would definitely be able to do that. It's, again, not the most convenient form of you know, dealing with your tanks, but it's definitely a functional one if you're willing to put a little bit of effort into getting it done. Anyways, guys, I will put a link to this and to that Valterra Macerator in the link of this video. You know, really cool product. I bought this one off Amazon. The folks at eTrailer sent me the Valterra one. And next time we're out with a scenario where we need to drain the tank and use this, I'll show you guys how it works again. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.